Are the first in tonight. How are you doing? I appreciate the first like. And I am drinking a bottle of water that's got lukewarm or room temperature, I guess you'd say. And it's got a packet of lemonade in it. Still tastes good, just not cold. Left over from my lunch. I understand cleanup work, joy. Yes. Well, we got a few things going on tonight. I'm going to open up a modular operational enhancement. Hello, Holly. Holly Ivans. And KP Heathen, greetings. Hello, Dave. Yoda. Well, did you hit 17 yet? I'm sure you probably slipped past me in the night. Oh. Dave, these have your name on it. You'll be getting these in the mail from me. I just need to pack them up with a few other things I'm gonna send you. A little care package from somebody who cares. 16.95. Yeah, you passed me. Ah, good for you. Hello, Black Widow. As Uncle Al would say, you know, he talks about being shadow banned. I really believe I've been shadow banned by YouTube. Maria Magavog, welcome. Please leave a like to support the channel 8 in the house. So I have started, well, I won't say I've started, I've been doing it. But I oftentimes will order stuff and have it delivered as opposed to going and getting it. And I feel like I'm helping the economy, maybe, or I'm helping certain things. I do most of my shopping at Aldi, Walmart, HEB, and Sam's Club, and Amazon. You know, those are my places where I do my shopping pretty much. So yesterday I ordered, because I like these, and they just came in today because I ordered them yesterday. The box that came in, and what came in the box. I ordered some ramen, Nissan ramen, chicken flavored. A 6-pack, $6 delivered. So, I mean, I'd pay about the same thing if I went and got it. But I ordered it. You know, and I like to eat them with crackers. I'll have a short. It'll probably be one that'll come up maybe tomorrow. I had a 3-bean chili, vegetarian chili today. 60 seconds in the microwave. I could have heated it in a pot of water. So if you can't use the microwave, you can always heat water and put it in hot water and it'll heat it. So I had a 3-bean chili and saltine crackers with lemonade for lunch. I paid, it was a 10-ounce chili, 10 ounces. I paid a little less. It was less than $3 for the chili. Mimi's Place. Mimi's Place. Hello, Mimi. Welcome. How am I? Enjoying my weekend. One of the nice things about being an educator is I don't work during the week. I went to breakfast with 2 of my friends that used to work with me. Both retired. We're all retired. Well, I came back to work, but they're retired. Had breakfast over at a restaurant, brought my wife a breakfast plate home. You know, went over to Sam's Club, bought a few things at Sam's Club, went to Walmart and bought a few things. Took a nap. It was raining outside. It's been a week or 2 since it's rained, so we got a nice little rain. It rained outside. So tomorrow I'll do a little yard work. Monday is back for another week. That's how I'm doing. My tactical prom, huh? Let me write that down. My tactical prom. I'll look into that, KP. So, today, the topic was just bragging about you, David Lynn, to my daughter. Well, that's nice. Hello, Mama 4 boys. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. I try to, good Lord, even in black I look fat. Gotta laugh at myself. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. Hello, Melinda. Melinda Elliott in the house. Please leave a like to support the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. 10 in the house. So as I had mentioned earlier, I ordered a case. Well, it's a 6-pack. Just got it in. I ordered a 6-pack of chicken flavored ramen bowls. You basically put a half liter of water in it, put it in the microwave for a couple of minutes, let it settle a little bit. With crackers, it's a nice little meal. I pay $1 a piece for them. I ordered it and got it in on Amazon. And thank you for linking channels, Melinda. I appreciate it. So today, in addition to that, trying to have a little excitement. The last couple of days, I've opened a pack of the modular operational ration enhancements, what they call Moore's Type 2 hot weather. This is pack number 3. So I'm going to open pack number 3 and go through what's in it. And I got these on Amazon. I got the 3 packs for $25. Somebody pointed out, well, they're expensive. And I said, yeah, they're a little expensive. But when you look at what you pay for components, when you buy components and such, it costs you more if you bought these items individually than getting them together. Because the 3 packs, I paid a little $8 a piece, $25, 3 packs. You know, it's like $8.33 a piece. So this pack 3, specially designed for added nutrition during operations at temperatures above 70 degrees. May also be consumed at temperatures between 40 and 70 degrees. Has energy gel, orange, nut and fruit mix 2, applesauce, cinnamon snack, corn kernels, First Strike bar, mini mocha beverage, and 2 carb electrolytes drinks. So let's start pulling this stuff out and we'll look at it. So, barbecue toasted corn kernels, 260 calories, 2 ounces. And these are from the 137th day of 23. See those numbers? 137th day of the 3 is 23. And they've got an inspection date of 25. Cinnamon applesauce enhanced with maltodextrin, 170 calories. Ingredients: applesauce, apples, juice, concentrate, water. You know, it comes with the card. So, where are you? This is mixed berry energy gel, 2.1 ounces. 165th day of 23. 2.1 ounces. Mixed energy gel. Walter Davis. Hello, Walter Davis. I'm going through a more right now. Making a mess of myself. How are you doing, Walter? Let's see. Here is a fruit punch beverage powder, no fruit juice, 90 calories. Put 12 ounces of water in it. You mix it up in the pouch. Here is a lemon lime beverage powder. No fruit juice, 90 calories. Ounces of water in it. You mix it up in the pouch. Now these are the components that are in this more that they would issue to soldiers in the field. Here is a mocha flavored mini. 150 calories, 1.2 ounces. This is a mini first strike bar. Here is a nut raisin mix. 350 calories, 2.3 ounces. These are all the components that are in this more. Die Bullfrog 79, Uncle Al, how you doing? And we have this is a cinnamon applesauce. You tear the notch and you suck it out. So these are the components that were in this more. The applesauce, the nut raisin mix, and mind you, these are all extras in addition to the MREs that they would issue you when you're out in the field. The first strike bar, this is a small one, what they call a mini. You had 2 beverage powders, 12 ounces each, a lime and lemon lime and a fruit punch. So I got one of each. You get your energy gel, 2.1 ounces. And you get your barbecue toasted corn kernels. And these are all relatively new. These were all manufactured about a year ago. And the inspection date is 25. So we're still within the before the inspection date. And they'll last for years. You store them properly. Please leave a like to support the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. 9 in the house, 11 likes. We're about almost 20 minutes into the live stream. So as I was saying, Osang, welcome Osang, Rakatera. Good morning to you in your part of the world. You are about 13 hours ahead of us here in Texas. So I'm thinking it's probably about 8:20 in the morning where you're at. And I am finishing off a lemonade. I took a packet of lemonade, put it in a cold bottle of water. Had it for lunch with a 3-bean chili, vegetarian chili. a packet, 10 ounce. I'll be ordering a case of those. And looking at my prepping. So today, the topic is going to be normalcy bias. What is normalcy bias? Normalcy bias is the tendency to underestimate the likelihood or impact of a potential hazard based on the belief that things will continue as they did in the past. Yes, am I ignoring you, Melinda? No. Are you trying to get my attention? I haven't been looking at the screen. I've just basically been talking and going through what I've been going through, but I'm not ignoring anybody intentionally. You're invisible? I'm looking back at some of your comments. Oh, have I tried the energy gel? I've had it before. You know, I've had energy gel. You get a boost. You know, you get it's an energy boost. It's like caffeinated gum or taking a shot, putting a couple of shots of espresso in a coffee or something. You know, it's an energy boost. But in order to keep it going, you have to keep, you know, intake. It's a temporary thing. It doesn't like blast you for the whole day, like these energy drinks. These energy drinks, they'll boost you, but then you have a fall, and you'll be lower after a while than you were if you hadn't taken it. So apologies, hadn't been paying attention, Melinda. I'm not ignoring you. Is it sugary? It has some sugar in it, yeah. It has some sugar in it. It doesn't taste bad. They got different flavors. Each of those Moors that I went through had different components, but if you noticed, each Moor had two drinks. It had two, it had like either a fruit punch. One of them had a grape and an orange. Another one had a fruit punch and like a limeade. The other one had, the three had, each of them had different beverages, the drinks. They were all the little packets that you put water in. You put 12 ounces of water in, shake it up, and you can drink it right out of the packet, you know. All of the various components are designed to, give you calories. They're giving you calories, they're giving you caffeine, they're giving you energy. You're in the field and there's not a field kitchen. If you're in an area that's not a hot zone, combat zone, they can go in and they can set up a field kitchen. And they'll go in and set up a field kitchen. They're not going to set up a field kitchen right at the front. It's going to be back behind the lines, and they rotate people up. And it depends on what sort of. Here I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I really don't, other than the fact from reading and from what I've observed. If they can feed you a hot meal, their goal is to get you at least one hot meal a day. So if you're not fighting World War III, if you're fighting the kind of wars that we fought in the last 20 years, where we're dominant, and basically we're going in and out of combat zones. We got safe zones, we got combat zones. Well, they've got kitchens set up in the safe zones. They send out patrols, or they send out troops to engage the enemy in hot zones. You're not going to have a field kitchen there. So if you're overnight or if you're all day in an area where there's combat going on, you're basically going to be having, an MRE or two. You're going to have a couple of MREs. You'll have your more, and you're not eating a cooked meal. But they've got to feed you. You got to have the energy input in order to keep fighting or to keep doing whatever you're doing. Oh. Are you talking about mine? I don't know what's going on. I uh I feel like YouTube is messing with me. I really feel like YouTube is messing with me based on my content, based upon comments I've made, things that I've said they don't like, you know. And Uncle Al talks about being shadow banned. I feel like, that's the case with me. I try to respond with comments or respond to comments, and I'll get an error signal. Like today, I actually managed to do some thank yous with a little prayer emoji, and it didn't give me an error. So I did that on several comments that people had made. You might have got one of them. But other than being able to put a heart, where you do the little heart, hit the heart symbol and it clinks, that you like it, you like it. Uh, it has not been letting me. It's been giving me an error signal when I try to leave comments or respond, not comments to your videos, but if I try to respond to comments that you leave to my videos for whatever reason. The other thing is, I've had minds better than me, younger people, trying to help me with the monetization. It has not allowed me. You do the two-step, get that done, and you go do the next thing, and it won't accept it. You go to input the next thing that you have to do, it won't accept it. Beyond that, and I don't know. It will allow you to do it, but it won't accept it for whatever reason. I don't know. I may never get monetized. But then I don't actually need the money from it. I wouldn't be getting much anyway, and it's not going to affect me one way or another. If I get an extra $150 or whatever a month in, or $100, or if I was to get that, and I don't think I'd be getting that much, it'd take me several months to earn based on if it's anything like what Social Blade says my channel is producing, as far as revenue, from ads or whatever for YouTube, it would take me several months to make $100. And honestly, when you think about the amount of time I'm putting into it, this is a hobby. It's not, this is a hobby to me. I mean, it's a little bit of an ego trip that I'm getting. My subscribers are climbing slowly. Eventually it'd be nice if I get past 2,000. I really feel I'm not embarrassed at the size of my channel. I mean, everybody starts someplace, but I don't see my channel ever growing to where I'm like a massive influencer. Hello, Devil Dog Prepper. So, I will get my box. I will get a box. I've got a couple of people that are going to be getting boxes from me in the near future, follow-up boxes. And I will get those done, and I will do probably 3 or 4 minute video doing it. And I may load I may load one of them up. So if I load one of them up prior to hitting the 1,700, that's going to count when I hit 1700. So if I've loaded up a video, if you see me load up another video, I'm right now at 1691. I was at 1692 and I lost one. If you see me load up another video, you need to jump on it and leave a like and a comment, because when I hit 1700, I'm going to look at how many comments are on that last video. I'm going to write down the names of whoever left a comment, and then I'm going to backtrack 4 and either check off or scratch out. So if, let's just say, I drop a video tomorrow, and then 2 days later, I hit 1700. It may be sooner than 2 days later. Maybe 1 day later I hit 1700. But if you didn't jump on it and leave that comment, then you won't be in the drawing. And I'm sorry, Do you want me to say, well, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to count up however many, whatever, and all those people will be in. I might just get a pile in then. What about the people who have been faithfully watching my videos? The ones that faithfully watch my videos. And then they've got basically mercenaries competing against them. Like, well, I'm just there because I want a chance at the drawing. So you got you got to think about that. I think about that. PCF and ma'am, welcome. PCF and ma'am. How are you doing on your side of the world? So, let's look at where I'm at. So right now I'm sitting at 1691, and I've got 26.5K views. Watch time is at 5:54. My last live had 81 views. My current short is at 337. And I dropped that one 7 hours ago. I'll probably drop one more short tonight. And my last video, which was the little short one I did that was 2 minutes long about my Rise class, 52 views. That's where I'm at right now. So the idea of normalcy bias. Things have always been this way, they're not going to change. Well, I don't know about that. Like, there are people that are fleeing California, Chicago, Illinois, New York City, some of the blue states, and they're moving to Texas. That, life's better here. But if you're one of those woke liberals that basically cause things to be the way they are in these other places I just mentioned, please don't come here for a better life and then want to start turning us into California, Illinois, New York, You know, don't try to bring crap that destroyed those areas here. Unless, what do you want to do? You want to destroy Texas too? Do you want to destroy Florida? Do you want the whole world to go to SHIT? Don't come here and bring that. And there are people who are doing it. I know, I talk to them. You know, they're so glad that they're not where they were at. But when you start talking to them about things that, you know, that they don't they don't talk about the things that made Texas great. You know, they've got that, you know, it's like, we don't want you here. You know, we don't want you here. You know, don't come here if you're going to vote for, you know, vote to destroy the state. Hello, Belinda. How you doing? Got a couple of preps from garage sales. Sealed case of 30 small bars of Dove soap, $1. Well, that was a good deal. Stainless steel hand coffee grinder with built-in canister, $2. That's great. A Daisy Marksman BB pistol, $2. Those are some good preps. You did good. Very good. So I will try to put up some new content. And I don't want to put up content just to put up content. I will try to put my shorts are putting up content for content, just to put up content to get the views. You know, that's what all my food shorts. Most of them are just, what did I eat? You want to know what my diet is? Look at my shorts. That's what I'm eating. You know. I try to be sincere when, you know, this is me. When you see me doing a live stream and you hear me talking about what I talk about, this is me. This is the way I think. This is the way I am. If I meet you on the street, I will be kind to you as long as you're kind to me. Don't care who you are. You smell bad, I don't want to get near you. But as far as talking to people and being friendly to people and being kind and trying to be a good Christian to people, I will do that. It's my upbringing. My friend was telling me today, his daughter lives in San Antonio, which is blue. Lives in a blue neighborhood. And this woman that was high tried to break in her house. You know, was banging on the door, banging on the door. Her husband thought that it was the missus who had taken the dog out and locked herself out. Had taken early nighttime, had taken the dog out to go use the restroom or whatever. And he opened the door, and this crazy woman tried to get in. And she was obviously high and on something. And he was a pretty good sized man, and he forced her out and shut the door on her. And she kept banging on. And then she went around to the back door, which was a glass door. I took that sliding glass door out when I did the remodel, and I put in a solid door. You know. so I don't have any sliding glass doors. But she was trying to get in the back, trying to break through. Crazy woman, high on something or other. And he wound up getting the shotgun, 20 gauge pump shotgun. She broke in. He pointed that shotgun, chunked around into it, and she said, don't shoot me, and she took off. And he didn't shoot her. She backed off and took off. Said they'd called 911. It took 30 minutes for the police to show up. When the police showed up, they were going to try to find her. 30 minutes for a police response in San Antonio. Well, that's a story. It's supposed to be a true story from a friend of mine had breakfast with today. This happened earlier in the week. Hello, Joshua Humphrey. And hello, Texas Hockey Cards. How you doing? I haven't been paying attention. I apologize. I'm tired. I am tired. Getting close to my bedtime. 13 in the house, 18 likes. 43 minutes in. Normalcy bias. All things will be the way they've always been. Something bad happened, things will be the way they always have. Enrique Trevino. Hello, Enrique. I don't know. I hope everybody has been stocking up on what they need. Hope everybody has plenty of bottled water in case the water turns off for a period of time. The pumps aren't working, no water, no electricity. What are you going to do? The internet's down. What are you going to do? Can't use debit cards, can't use credit cards. Stores aren't getting resupplied. What are you going to do? It's hurricane season. June the 1st till November. If there's a storm, what are you going to do? Are you ready for it? You going to stay in? You going to leave? Well, the topic is basically preparedness, but today I'm talking about normalcy bias. The tendency to underestimate the likelihood or impact of a potential hazard. based on the belief that things will continue as they have always been. Hello, Mr. Whistle. Gina, welcome, Gina. You know, at the end of World War I, over 100 years ago, there was a Spanish flu pandemic. They were wearing masks back then. Millions of people died. Back then, they had a pandemic back then. I mean, there have been other, like the Black Death. Um, when they had the bubonic plague, which has hit multiple occasions during the mid 500s, killed a third of the population. There have been mass die-offs. Yeah, the so-called algorithm or AI or whatever, certain keywords, big no words, they go after you. They hit on them when you talk about certain things, like the origin of the most recent, you know, they don't want you to say where it came from. They're in denial. They call it misinformation or disinformation. I've been reading and hearing a lot of stuff about the facts of life. People don't want to talk about the facts of life. Everybody's greeting everybody. 15 in the house, 20 likes. Well, I think Uncle Al by Bullfrog has said, he's talked about it. Wayne, the ungrateful peasant, he's talked about it. I've talked about it. Our content, they don't like our content. They feel like we're negative or that we're promoting, uh, we're not promoting positivity, or we're talking about things they don't want to talk about. We're representing opinions they don't want mentioned. Over in Britain right now, England, they've had some issues with, the um, the people from the Middle East. Their religious faith is not sitting too well in the UK. They're trying to, they are a minority that is growing because they're being allowed to come in, but they're trying to force the population, the indigenous population of the UK, to accept their religious faith. And they're willing to use force to do it. And a lot of them are radicalized, and they're basically You get instances where you've got people with knives and hatchets and such attacking people for no other reason than the fact that they are Christians. They don't belong to that other faith, and they don't accept that other faith. And their faith basically says that, if they're not of your faith, you don't have to respect them. What you do to them, they got coming. And somebody can accuse you of hate speech, you know, or you're a phobe of this or you're a phobe of that, you know. And another thing is that they have disarmed their general populace. You've got to go through an arm and a leg and really have power to have a permit to own a weapon over there, a private citizen. And they're having mass riots. The people are, and they're making the people who are rioting out to be the criminals. That's happening in England. They're having problems in Germany. They're having incidents all over. They're having problems in major problems in France. You know, people are getting fed up. People are getting fed up. Yeah. Well, they're going to have to come over here and get me. What can I say? What can I say? I could talk about the end times. It's called eschatology. You want to study the end times? It's called eschatology. Yes, preparedness is okay to discuss. When when you're under a storm watch, FEMA, emergency management, the Red Cross, um, you get your electric bill, and they put a pamphlet in about what you should do during hurricane season, where I'm at. And they tell you need to have a week's worth of this, and you have a week's worth of that, and you need to have this, you need to have that, and they anticipate having disruption for a week or so. You know, so if you're one of those people that's from hand to mouth, I had a paraprofessional that worked for me back in the days, 30 plus years ago. Nice man, nice young man. He would go out and he would buy he would go and shop to prepare one meal. And he would buy the items that he needed to prepare a meal. And we're not talking about like an anniversary dinner or something such. We're just talking about a regular meal. What do you think's going to happen? Well, it's just like all these immigrants that come in, all the homeless people that come in. Do you think they've got a week's worth or 2 weeks worth, or that they've got anything laid back for anything for a few days? They're walking around begging, or they're waiting to get their freebies. You know, they're not. They're a bleed on society. They are not they are not productive. You know, it's like, oh, all these people, we need them. We need them to come in. You know, we need them, and we need their kids. You know, what do they cost? How much are they costing us? How much is the debt going up? And you know, I'm heartless. I don't want to support the entire planet. You know, I don't want the entire population of the planet to come to the United States, and then we're supposed to take care of them. You know, and I went over to Walmart today, and there were all these elderly white people in there shopping, going about their business. You know, well, they're going to be dying off. The pandemic took out a lot of them. You know, they say about 1 million people in the United States died due to the pandemic. It hit the elderly. It hit the people who had health issues, the ones that had serious health issues, and the elderly. It took out a lot of them. The medically fragile. Took out a lot of them. When HIV first was discovered, and it really broke out hard because of the spread of it, they basically said it was a gay disease because it was mainly gay men that had it. So they weren't worried at that time. They weren't worried about it spreading to the general population because they said, well, it's a gay disease. And a lot of people thought, well, that's good, we'll weed out the gays. You know, too many of them anyway. And that was the philosophy. That's what a lot of people thought. But then you got all these bisexual people giving it to, you know, straight women who gave it to straight men. You know, and yet a major, you know, people were dying. Very famous people were dying. And you'd get this stuff, and a year later you're dead. They didn't have ways to treat it. They didn't have medication for it. They can't cure it. But it was wiping out a lot of people. Wiping out a lot of people. So now you've got 3 or 4 mutations, 5 mutations, 6 mutations of the virus, and now it's sort of like the flu. You test positive for it, it's like the flu. The current itineration is you throw up, and then you've got diarrhea and a little fever, and you feel like crap for about 4 or 5 days. And that's the current itineration of COVID. Supposedly, that's what I've been told at school. You know, you want it thrown up, you get a little fever, you have diarrhea, feel real bad. And then they have medication. They treat you. They prescribe certain medication for it, and and you stay in bed for a few days, and it's not really killing anybody. And good night, Uncle Al. So that's where you're at. That's where it's at, and that's where you're at right now. I just tell people, live your life. When you get up in the morning, thank God for the day, pray, say the Lord's Prayer. You take medication, take your medication, drink your coffee. Try to stay up with what's going on. Keep your eyes open. Take care. Um, well, and see, another thing is they passed legislation in Texas to prevent foreigners from owning and buying land and such. I anticipate if the election turns out the way it should, that there's going to be a lot of blowback and a lot of changes, returning things to the way they were, taking care of a lot of these problems. You know, they'll take care of a lot of these problems, things that are happening. Please leave a like to support the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Help me with the algorithm. Well, a lot of people are getting paid to support these other, they pay you. They're paying people who are in positions to help them to help them. That's true. Be in prayer for Uncle Al. His health is poor. JC, hello JC. How are you doing? From what I'm hearing, China is in a bad way too. China is in a bad way. They're not. It's like Russia. You know, Russia's claim to fame is they've got all these nukes left over from the Cold War. They are not a superpower by any means. That they have all these nukes left over from the Cold War that were put in place 50 years ago. And from what I understand, you have to update, replace components, do testing on components to know that they'll work. And supposedly they don't have the means to do that very much. They can't do that the way they need to do it. That's just like China. All of these so-called missiles that they have that, like, they went and they did an inspection. A lot of them weren't fueled. You couldn't launch them if you needed to. They weren't, they weren't what we have, we take care of. And, and the other thing is, China is not going to start any sort of nuclear conflict. I would anticipate Putin on his deathbed, or the nut in Korea, or maybe if Iran gets one, that they'd use it. You know, the thing is that if let's just say North Korea, they have a few, let's just say they fired a few off. Well, if they'd hit and they do some damage, and then North Korea would no longer exist. It would basically be a series of craters between. We would probably nuke their capital, and we would probably bomb the rest of the place into out of existence. And they've got to know that. They can talk crap and and all that, but they got to know that. Yeah, they would be responsible for the death of millions of people, but the leadership, they don't care about their own people. They don't care how many of their own people die. Look at Russia going into Ukraine and all the young soldiers that are dying. You know. Hello, Anne Marie. Miss Anne Marie, how are you doing? Yeah, well, I hear you. I mean, the idea of how do you identify, these people that say they're women? Well, do they have a Y chromosome? If they have two X chromosomes, well, what if they got a Y chromosome? So I was reading today something about Brittany Grimer that said when she was born, she was an abnormality. She had two X and one Y chromosome. And that because of whatever, they chose that she would be a female. Now, 6'9", an Adam's apple, a male voice. But we're to believe that this is a woman. Normal abnormality or whatever. Those two people during the Olympics, that French, I think it was French, looked very much like a man. If you got an XY chromosome, you're a man. I don't care if you say you're a woman or whatever. If you got you're a man. And then being upset because hate speech and hurtful and the you completely lose a good portion of your support when you start promoting this ultra woke liberal BS. I mean, you lose a lot of your support when you start promoting stuff that's just absolutely BS. And you know There are people who are gay, there are people who are lesbians, there are people who are bi, but they're either a man or a woman. There's no three or four different, five different. Men cannot breastfeed children. Men do not give birth. Uh, Men should not be in women's locker rooms. Men and women are not on the same level competing physically. Intellectually, fine. Physically, no. Now, every once in a while, you find a really big, tough woman that can probably whoop a man in a lot of stuff. But they're few and far between. You know, it's not the norm. You don't have women in any of these elite military units. They don't meet the qualifications. And you can't woke them down to, you know, the elite units have to have the standards that they have. And you have to be able to do what you have to be able to do to qualify for those units. You know, you don't want a woke military trying to fight a war for us. That's not going to be a good thing. You know. Food, forest, permaculture in the house. Hello, Howie. Little Lone Prepper, you and Holly, you got a good conversation going, and I agree with you. I agree with what y'all are saying. And you know, and I know like Anne Marie is over in the UK, and she can't voice the opinions that I am, or they might come for her. That's how bad her government is. Then somebody said, "Well, they may come for me." They better not. Hey, I agree with you, Black Widow. You said it very well. You do you. I do me. You know, be nice to me. I'll be nice to you. I won't force my lifestyle on you. You don't force your lifestyle on me. Yeah, trolls. Um, Back during the later days of the Diaz administration down in Mexico, and he basically ran the place for 30 years. Call it a benign dictatorship. He did a lot of positive things for Mexico. He is a hero to the middle class down there, what middle class they have. The same way Pancho Villa and Benito Juarez and all those revolutionary types are the heroes to the socialists and to the poor people. But they were having a big protest in this bull. You know, they have these stadiums or like where they do bullfights and such, and they had like 15, 20,000 socialists in there. They sent the military in. I think this is back over 100 years ago. They sent the military in, had them surrounded where they couldn't get out. They went in and killed every one of them. They went in, shot, just cleaned them out. Well, took care of that problem. I mean, there were more of them, but it sent a message. Sent a message. Oh, how horrible. How horrible. Well, it was horrible, you know, to think that they had to do that because, you know, all these people who are nuts, you know. Buying space. Hello, buying space. I have a degree in history. You know, I have 2 graduate degrees. They don't just give those to you at A&M, you know. And I have 2 bachelor's and I have 2 master's degrees. I spent 30 years doing education. I was a teacher and I was an administrator. A lot more years as an administrator than as a teacher. Now I'm back teaching. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I respect everybody as long as they respect me. I love my kids and I do the best for them. You know, and I try to teach them things that they need to know. So many kids, they can't read or watch. Like up there on the wall, one of my goals I've been working on with some of them is to read or watch. You know? Well, the other thing you have to understand about these people who do these sex changes and these kids that do these sex changes and they give them puberty blockers and they do stuff, you know, it really messes them up down the road. It shortens their life. It sterilizes them. And a lot of them are suicides. There's a higher rate of suicide amongst these people. You know. I mean, if you go back to the mid 1980s, up until that time, homosexuality was considered a deviancy and it was considered a mental illness. You know. And then the DSM-4 and the DSM-5 have changed. But if you go back, and I'm not saying that to be hurtful, I'm just telling you the way things were. You know. Yes, I do. I've got 2 of them. One on either end. And some of my kids can't read it. What time is it, Mr. Lynn? And I'm trying to teach them to read the clock. You know. But they say, well, that's not part of their TEKS, or that's not part of their... And then the other thing, you know, it's like, well, like with math. You really have to learn basic operations before you can go on to the more advanced math. Oh, well, they have calculators. You should be able to do it with pencil and paper. A lot of it you should be able to do in your head. They don't know their multiplication facts. They can't regroup when they're doing a problem. And they want me to be teaching multi-step equations. And then they would be upset when you throw reality at them, you know. I don't know, but it should be. You talk to young people, and they say, well, you're talking about back in the days. With you, it's back in the day, because I talk about when I was young, what we had and what we didn't have. I grew up affluent. I grew up, my family was fairly well to do. But we didn't have all this stuff. I had a set of Encyclopedia Britannica. Not that many people had those because they were expensive. I had lots of books. I had subscriptions to several magazines. I had subscriptions to 3 different newspapers. That's how I got the news. Oh, and they do a 1-hour newscast. You'd have a 6 o'clock newscast, 6 to 7, and you'd have a 10 o'clock newscast, which was a late newscast. And then they might come, if something major happened, they'd come on the television to let you know. If you're watching the television. We had radio. Back when I was young, we had AM radio. And they came out with FM radio, which was stereo. I mean, I talk to kids about stuff. And they sort of believe me, but then they sort of, when we talk about things. Excuse me, I'm tired. I am tired. I am. 13 in the house, 22 likes. Creative Redundancy, how you doing, CR? So for those of you who just recently came in, thank you for like 23. For those of you who just recently came in, you may want to go back and look at the first 15 or 20 minutes of my live stream. I went through a modular operational ration enhancement type number 3. I went over a few things that I'm not going to go through again this evening. I'm tired. Whenever you get up in the morning, I say the same thing to you. You should have it ingrained in your brain. But, every day I wake up, I thank God for the day, because you don't know when you're going to not wake up. And when you don't wake up, you're not going to know it. Because, I quote scripture some, the dead sleep. That's in the scriptures. Multiple places in the scriptures. You're not there floating around a cloud. You're waiting for judgment day with the Lord. And then you'll wake up to judgment day if you've already passed. You have no concept of time passage. So it may be, my father, he died 48 years ago. If he woke up, the Lord came and he woke up, he would have no concept of the passage of time. It's just, he's awake now. Here we are. So, treat people the way you want to be treated. Those that you love, tell them you love them. Honor your parents. They may be gone. Honor their memory. You can honor their memory by behaving in such a way to show that you had home training. Be kind to old people. One day, if you live, you will be old. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Thank first responders. Thank military veterans for their service. Thank law enforcement for their service. You get first responders like firemen, law enforcement, paramedics. They're not doing it to get rich, and they risk their lives. Yeah, that's one of, Jesus. Said he's asleep when he raised Lazarus. Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. He was already, it was already, you don't want to be around him after, they start smelling, they start decomposing, they start bloating. Not good, horrible. That's why they'd seal him in. They didn't embalm him. Well, as Jesus said, Lazarus was asleep. He was asleep. He said, Lazarus, come forth. And he did. I, as bright as I think I am, or back in the day when I thought I was very arrogant back in the day, as bright as I thought I was, you know, wisdom is knowing what you don't know. There are topics that I know quite a bit about. I know a lot about. And then there are things I know very little about. And how can you grasp the infinite? How can you grasp the infinite? When you have, you have the Supreme Being trying to communicate to the mind of a man. I always was and I always will be. I am the creator. I made you in my image. And trying to teach a primitive child concepts that we still don't know today. And can you imagine back then? Yeah, that's basically my mother. She was just shy of 82 when she passed. May they all rest in peace. I can't explain. There's things that I can't explain. I can't explain them. I read them, and you might think, well, these are inconsistencies. I don't know. Moses lived to be 120. He wasn't allowed to go into the promised land. He could look at it, but he wasn't allowed to. He died. And they, you know, but when Jesus was in the garden, he was praying. And it was before they were going to come for him. And the apostles had been sleeping. And then woke up and he said, stay with me and pray with me. And they were tired and they went to sleep. He was praying. And there were two angelic beings that were there with them. And one of them was Moses. And I think the other one was Elijah. So then you say, well, how could Moses appear to the Lord in the garden if he was asleep? And the only thing I can say is that there were certain ones worthy that were transformed at an earlier stage than Judgment Day. But the vast majority are asleep, you know. Because on Judgment Day, the dead in Christ will rise first. That's in the scriptures. And there are those that will rise and meet him in the clouds as he returns with his armies, his angelic armies. And that's in the scriptures. So I don't know. So, you know, I don't know. Sure, you can ask a question. Whether or not I'll be the one that answers it, I don't know. But maybe there's brighter people in here in the stream right now than me. They can probably answer if I can't. What is it? What's the question? Must be alone because she's typing it out. Looks like she's typing something out. Let's have it, Anne Marie. Do I believe in UFOs? I believe there are things we don't know, and I believe there are things that we can't know or that we don't have the technology to know. And I also think that some of this UFO stuff might be angelic or spiritual. They say our battles are against principalities and powers and principalities. Our battles are in the spirit. There's a spiritual battle going on. You know, the forces of good and evil, they're fighting over us. Are there little green men? I can't tell you one way or another. I don't know. They debunked the Loch Ness Monster. That was a hoax that somebody had done. I don't know. I have faith. I have faith. And I pray daily. And I am a sinner. All have sinned. And I'm not trying to proselytize, or I'm just, I'm repeating things that I was taught. $8.10 the house, 23 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Well, the story with that is that when Lucifer, or Lightbringer, or whatever you want to call him, when he rebelled, his minions followed him. 1/3 of the heavenly host rebelled with him. He tried the first coup and he got cast down. And he is often referred to as the God of this world. But he is not God. You know, he was an archangel. Good night, Holly. I will be saying the same thing. It's been a long day, 15 in the house, 23 likes. And I will try to be back tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. I appreciate you guys coming in. It's been a good one. And I apologize if I said anything that upset anybody. Don't want to step on anybody's toes. I appreciate you. You can come back in the comments afterwards, leave me a comment. And I am behind on my comments, and I'm behind on my viewing. I'm behind on everything. Everybody, please have a blessed day, and appreciate you coming for another edition of Coffee Talk. Bye-bye.